Hello? I'm still kinda setting up. But I figured I would actually start on time. And I can just talk while I'm setting up. Because this is going to be pretty much a crash course in broadcasting Photoshop. And I actually have royalty-free music from Aviators. So I'm going to use that because art streams need music. And I like Aviators, so it's like perfect thing. Okay. I need to send out a tweet. Tweet. Starting that pony drawing stream, yay! Not really yay. I have no plans except to draw something. Okay. There was something else I needed to do, and I forget already. But I got tablet set up. I think I'm gonna turn down this music a bit. Does that work? Now I need to... Ooh. Shh. I'm listening to the sound. I think it's fine. Whoa. My voice startled me even. Okay. So the sounds right. Sounds good. So I haven't used Photoshop since September for drawing, that is, and I had really nice templates set up at the time for turning down the music again. The music needs to be perfectly in the background. I had some nice templates set up for like poster stuff. Oh, you can see all my stuff here. It's gonna have to I'm gonna have to get used to the fact that my main screen now is like it's broadcast. It's not just the game screen anymore. Get out of here, Lang Net. No, don't go. I'm sorry. I think I need to get new glasses, because when watching myself back on streams, I'm adjusting them a lot. And for no other reason than they just slide down my face. Anyway, as I was saying, I had templates all set up back in the day for poster-sized drawing. So, like, right out of the gate, I would have a canvas. Where am I looking? I should explain another thing, that I had a minor catastrophe with all my drawing files, and they just vanished. files that I were looking for just started disappearing, so I dumped them all in a giant folder of just everything. And I think this is it. And okay, one of these is the template that I set up, and I'll remember eventually which one it is. Is it the scaled up one? Maybe it's in my recent. Scaled up. So it's actually a comic template, but I customized it. Oh, maybe I didn't customize it. I have one with like a border for like where you cut and the bleed edge and all that. You know what? I'm gonna clear that. That's old stuff. Now the recent folder is just gone, huh? Okay. Okay. Boop. Scaled up test? We're gonna go on an adventure. Nope. That test is me practicing comic text. So I'm gonna rename that test comic text. What's this one? Same thing. Delete. 2-page comic. Oh, I'm an idiot. Right here. See, this is the original template I found way back in the day. And I made it so that it's kind of oversized, but the intention is that I draw at the higher resolution. Why is it? Should be landscape. I'll figure out how to use Photoshop again eventually. Is it the canvas? No. Do I just... Nope, Control R is not it. Is this what I want? The problem with this is when I start using the zoom wheel on my tablet, it resets the orientation for no reason. So I'm just gonna have to... Maybe I can remap that. Can I remap that right now? Brush size. B. Yeah. So now... So 11 by 17, I think, is what poster size is usually. And this is bigger than that. So if I resize it down to 11 by 17, I think that's the blue line. Yeah, I remembered. So the point being, I know the blue line is where the edge of the poster print will be. So I want to paint past that line usually. Actually, just paint right to the edge of the... If I'm doing a digital, not really intending to print. But all the detail out there gets cut off if I decide to print it. And I want to print it at big old poster size, 300 DPI, so all of my files are gigantic. But what I'm going to do 20 by... Can I, like... Is there a way to just, like, set the whole... Not just rotate the canvas, but actually turn the whole file, so it's like, that's the dimensions. I forget how to do that. Is this it? Just plain old image rotation? Reset. Alright, so we're going to do image rotation clockwise. Maybe I'll save that. Scaled up landscape. Meh. Oh, right. What I'm going to be doing is a splash screen for Twitch, I think. Come on, you can do it. So, I need to make sure it's 1080p. When it shrunk down. So what does that look like when it's all shrunk down to 1080? So kind of underneath that dotted line. So this is a whole splash screen. 1080p. Alright, so now I know to just kind of... Okay. Okay, Photoshop. Chill out. Layer order. Okay. I'm thinking. I think that'll work. So I'm going to turn off the comic guidelines. Lines. Trim area. Interesting. I don't know what this safe area is for. I called it 2:3 ratio. 9:13.5. Okay. Also in this somewhere, yeah, I have like macros I built to automatically resize this thing down to poster size so I don't have to do it manually each time. As long as I remember which one's which. I don't need to do that. What do I need to do? Oh. Explain the weird kind of... On the stream, can I see a bigger video of my own thing? So, the brown bars to the left and the right of the Photoshop is actually, just still, that's not my background. This is actually my background. Ponies. I'm capturing my desktop screen, but it's 1920 by 1200. But I want to fit it into a 1920 by 1080. So it's kind of shrunk a little bit. And then there's sidebars. I'd rather have the extra pixels to work in instead of make the stream look nice. I think maybe the brown isn't too bad. If it is, I'll change it to 1080p next time. I'm already talking a lot, so I'm going to take a water break. Right. So I need to lock these. I don't remember how to lock layers. Oh. Lock. And lock. Save as. What do we want to start with? I think my idea, stream splash. I want to make an offline stream splash first. While I like the offline splash that I have now, it's just a screenshot of real mist. And I'd like something original. Maybe I can show you it. I'm going to turn up the music, actually. So where did I put my stream stuff? I have a folder named Stream Stuff. My organizational skills involve making a folder for one thing and then dumping everything into it. I don't know where I put the thingy. Is it? How odd. I know this is like all the screenshots I have. Oh, I just dumped it. This is my splash screen. I have a bunch of different splash screens. I decided to use the trees, because trees are cool. That's cool. That's cool. But yeah. And this, my idea is to have my... Where'd my pin go? You're always losing the pin. My idea is to have Sandy, my pony character, asleep on the cloud with this ZZ thought balloon over the top. And I think I have a sketch that I drew ages and ages ago, but I don't know where I put it. And obviously, if I'm missing files, it could just be gone. But I'm gonna look real quick. Here's my folder of absolutely everything I've ever done in Manga Studio, or however you pronounce it, Clip Studio. is what it is now. Anybody see it yet? Sandy sleeping on a cloud with Z's. There's some Z's. This is like... Can I make this bigger? Eh. I have to open it, don't I? I don't want to open Clip Studio. View. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, there it is. Perfect. I'm going to open Clip Studio. Do you want... no. Clip Studio! When did I draw this? 2015. December 2015. What am I looking at? I'm not even really looking at anything, I'm just staring at this stuff. You can see this was all like organized into folders, but I'm pretty sure I had a setup between my Surface and my desktop. I would transfer things back and forth working on it, and I think something... I'd like to say it wasn't my script. I made a nice Windows script to move files back and forth with one click, and that must have like just lost stuff in the transfer. It shouldn't have, because I was using something called RoboCopy, which is robust copy. But I'm gonna say Clip Studio ate my files at some point, so I'm missing stuff. Posting what? Full disclosure, some of this stuff is just me. These are reference images in some of these, so they're not mine. Nor do I claim them. Anyway, this is what I want to draw, so can I open this in Photoshop? I can trace my own stuff. It'll get me back in the swing of things. Okay. Open. Open. Maybe we'll get lucky. What's this called? 2015. 12. This. That's it. Nope. Okay. So I'm just gonna export this as a big ol' PNG. It's working on it. This is... honestly, stuff like this is why I don't like Clip Studio anymore. At the resolution of stuff that I drew, everything would just be so slow. And you know something's wrong when Photoshop is faster than your drawing program. Okay, I'm giving up on that. Let's try it again. Now it just says... I don't know what's going on. Export. Single layer. Don't think I want to do that. Here's my drawings folder. Sure, we're going to dump it in here. 100%. Prefer quality. Say, look, I even found my robocopy test. Apparently, called myself an idiot. There's nothing in the file. Anyway. I'm getting sidetracked. Where did I save that? Scratch, disk, drawings. Got it. How do you import into Photoshop? That is not what I wanted to do. But I guess I'll just copy the whole... Oh my. How big is this image? 4800 by 3000. How big is this image? Oh, I already shrank it. Didn't want to do that. Save. Now we'll put it back in, and it should be perfect. Yeah. Oops. What was that? Oh good, the tooltip is like popping off the side of the screen. Filter for smart objects. Lock. Block and hide. Always name your... No, stop it. Always name your layers. Sandy Cloud Ref. Yeah, I think I can open this into a separate... Here, close that. We don't need to log all the memory. Log all the memory. Hog all the memory. No! Is this showing up on the screen? Sort of the cheap what's the word I'm trying to look for? Cheap reference window thing. Navigator. You see, there's a navigator over here, but I don't know if I want that. What's this music? I don't like it. Skip. I want to stick this off to the side, so no one's going to see it. Wait, did I grab? No. Okay. So another thing I bought in preparation for all of this. I spilled water. Microfiber cloth. I bought this color wheel thing because I really love it. I've seen other streamers use it, and it's way better than Photoshop's, so I bought it. Better than the I can just get it. I wonder if there's a way to get the swatches on these sliders. Does anybody know? Anybody? Did Windows fix their stupid bug where you couldn't click in these like fields anymore with your pin? So it looks like it works now. Sketch layer. I'm gonna put that in a folder. Sketch. Alright. So whoops. What? Oh, I undid the rotation fix. Image rotation, 90% counterclockwise. No. What? Oh, I didn't. So I have a button that's supposed to like flip. You're supposed to help me. Arbitrary. Horizontal. Maybe I mapped the hotkey to the wrong. Oh my gosh. Just for a warning, I did say I was dusting the cobwebs off, right? So delete shortcut. Delete that one. Now if I push this button, it'll flip side to side. Yeah. Phone. Nothing important. Oops. Whoops. The brush. Now the real problem with this, in Clip Studio you could do the flip thing and it was just a canvas thing. It was like the preview, the window itself. It wasn't the actual canvas. And in Photoshop it is flipping like the actual canvas, so it gets stuck into the undo, which I find odd. It's like a destructive flip. I don't want that. This is really going to be a terrible thing. What is... Okay, it is doing the opacity thing. Opacity. It just means it doing like a weird jitter thing. Maybe it's just me. I also have, this lazy Nezumi thing. Whoops, where'd it go? So, that helps. I'm pretty sure it's on. How do I check? I can't tell if it's even working. Oh good, it's not. Like, at all. How do I make it work? Windows settings. Edit Photoshop options. I'm in the brush tool. Pulled string. Oh, it is working. Okay. So, I want this, basically. So how do I go about doing that without being terrible at everything? Oh, come on. That's for finishing touches, that's not for sketching. Just take that. It's also, I've drawn on my surface for the past couple years, so now I'm switching back to tablet. And that's difficult. I need to get my tablet legs back. Without hitting the microphone. That's equally important. Maybe I can scoot things a little closer to me. Alright. It's definitely different than drawing on my surface. Where is that ZZ thing I had? Like the actual... I missed screenshot thing that was in the drawing folder. I'm going to take that, yoink, put it in my stream stuff folder. Oops. For those of you not in the know, oops, okay. See. Why isn't it pasting? Control A, Control C, Control Shift V. Am I missing something? Yeah. Control C. Copy. There. What the heck? This is the Amiga Thought Balloon. Commodore Amiga. For all those people who don't know what that is. Need a references folder. Group from layers? Yeah. Huh. Thinking maybe I want to pull that out and have the navigator here after all. But I'm not sure. That'll let me pull the properties up. Nope. It won't. And I lock this onto the side here, it'll just take up all kinds of space. No. Okay. I don't think I want that brush. I've like lost my knack for brushes too. See, like I think that's just too... What? What button did I push? That's kind of cool. Home takes you to... If you push the home key by accident, it takes you to the top left of your canvas. That's what's going on here. We're learning. It's an educational stream. What I really want is to learn, figure out how to draw these guys. So I'm going to try that instead. Not good enough? Maybe I just need to, like, learn to do it. Alright. We're gonna do this the right way. A shoulder and a butt. How do the bones on a pony go? When in doubt, find your references that you've lost on your hard drive. I have a references folder. That's cool. A references I like folder. What did I like back in the day? All kinds of deviant art stuff, I guess. Legs. Now, is that what I wanted? I think this is what I wanted. Legs. Leg references. The bones, actually. So, like the bones right here. So they... Nope, this isn't right, because it... That one's not the right one. Because I know I like to draw bones in the back leg like this. Which is sort of okay. Where you have your joints like this, and that's the backbone, and then the front is like this. So you have the spine, and then the shoulder, and then the elbow, and then the... Is that right? Do they have one more joint? Did I just, like, rage quit my references folder? There it is. One, two. So you got kind of like a front like opening bracket. The way I remember it is it's like an HTML tag. Where you do this. Div tag. Yeah. So you have your brackets. Anyway. What is this music? Called Boss Theme. That explains why it's so energetic. What am I looking for? There's some wing references. I've opened that multiple times now. 1, 2. Yeah, so they have the bracket and then 2. And then the bracket. And then 2. Weird. Bracket and then 1, 2. Yeah. So see, like that. Right? So they have the bracket and then 2, and then the bracket and then 2. Yeah, that's how I remember things. You need a cute little nose, ear, hair. I guess. Oh, the hair's all down there. That hair's too big. I can flip this over, right? It's like a whole new... Hair is actually my biggest problem. I don't know how to give it like volume without just making it go wild. Tail's not so bad. So that... There's a leg. And then that thing. Poof. If I really wanted to like get back on the figuring out how to draw, I wouldn't trace my own stuff from years ago. But I kind of just want to, you know, oh, there's a leg. In a floofy cloud. I think I'm doing the pen too much. I really like to mash on my pen. So she has way bigger ears now. Nowadays. Then if we've like turned her face this way. Then she's got another eye over here. Or so I would hope. Unless something has happened that I don't know about. Can we erase that? No. Size down. E. Literally, E's. I was holding down E for eraser to quick swap, and then don't do that in the future, I guess. Erase! Stop! Alright. Like, She doesn't have eyebrows in this. Now she does. I don't know if that makes it work or not. I make the eraser bigger? I don't like that angle. Not at all. For the sake of everybody's sanity, I'm not going to erase it, but I'm going to get rid of it. Oh, there's a bunch of hair back here, isn't there? The problem I have is when I start putting details or like doing the final bits. Because I'm going, it's not half bad. It's when I start putting, like, inking, getting rid of the sketchy parts. Oh dear, that leg is not. That leg is not. No. That's it. That leg is not. Circle. And then it kind of swoops. Maybe it's this that's too much. I think it's too curvy is the problem. This is not going according to plan. Div. Whoops. We can get rid of that. I'm not sure how to go about this. Do I need to draw it from this angle? Maybe the key is to stop tracing what I've done and just use it as an eyeball reference. Alright. Whoa, there's some lag. Why is this, like, decided that it's changed? Just change settings. Okay. Here. Chest part. Back part. Weird music. So her shoulder's here. And then the leg comes out and she's kind of like, bleh. Goofy. Alright. New plan. We're gonna scribble it. Not even really trace, just kind of who backlights do this? No. I feel like a backlight doesn't do that. What does a backlight do? If I flip, how weird does it go? I have completely lost. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't want that. Let's go back this way. So it's kind of like this leg part here, and then I know some people like to do this with their legs, but I don't really. Whoops. See what I mean about Photoshop's canvas flip is, I call it destructive, because it puts it in the undo list, and then it's like, no. I don't want to. Maybe her leg is just out, like this? I have no idea. It doesn't look half bad. At this point, it's lassoable. We can do something with it. And then trace over it again later. Leg. Tape leg. Hair. So I remember the hard part for me is like getting 3D into the picture. But she's not looking like, you know, literally straight that way. She's looking sort of that way. You know? So now her whole face is kind of like at an angle. And I've seen these sort of lines before to help keep eyes on the right track. But her eyes are Here's the middle of her head. Now our nose looks way too big for this angle. The hair in this sketch is too wiry. I would like going for the fluff, not the messy. Fluffy messy, not like pokey messy. Pokey. And then big old tails around here, I guess. Ugh. Wing. I usually put wings on another. Decided to not listen to the keyboard anymore. I try to put wings on another layer so I can move them around separately, because my wings are terrible. Really, really terrible. And I just delete them all at once, like I did right there. So, see, I think it doesn't look half bad like this. It's then I'll like get into details and then it'll be just be freaking awful. How do I want to do this wing? I think I do better like this. So then the little feathers, usually a big feather there, and then another one, and then they kind of get smaller. What? There we go. See, and now I can just move the feather, the wing around. Okay. What was I gonna do? I should say things out loud just so I have, like, a record of what I was thinking about doing. Alright, back to it. Wing. Let's name that Wings. That's just a catch-all stuff. There's her thing. I forget what the symmetry is on this thing. I think it's that. Whatever. Details. So, I like fluffy legs. Her arm is kind of odd, actually. Can I turn the wing off? Okay, it's the wing that's throwing me off. But still, her leg is That doesn't look half bad. Kind of some idea of the shoulder up here. Elbow. You know what? I'm gonna make a bones layer for myself. Bones. Bones are red. So, not quite like that. So, there's the head here. And then the spine. Sort of. I mean, spines don't normally attach to the top of the head like that. Let's do this. So, shoulder. Come on. There we go. Undulate. Right. So it's the V and then a 1 and a 2 and a... yeah. So like that, essentially. And then on the other side of the body is the same thing. Only... makes an interesting point, actually. When I start doing the bones, the leg isn't lined up. Because the shoulder always does this. Because it's that... I mean... shoulder doesn't move. Or does it? A little bit. Because I think this bone right here can swing forward off that. Right? No? Yes? Which means... ooh. Do the swatches change over here if I, like, do a thing? It does! What was that? My phone lit up out of the corner of my eye. Nothing. Anyway. So... it's this part that doesn't move so much. That's the shoulder. And then this is like... lets the leg swing forward, and then this is the elbow, wrist. No. That's the wrist. I used to know this stuff. I'm just gonna eyeball it. Forget it. Forget it! It can kind of be over there. Over there. Quit it. I think that leg's gotta be here-ish. I mean, details, but it's easier to get this stuff before you start getting too far along. I think she needs to be fatter. Except for the head. And I select everything but the head. Everything except the head. Oh, yes I can. By selecting the head and then inverting. Oh, I do remember that part. Select inverse. Alright. Now I can... Oh, that's weird. I can crop, right? Crop the selection? Select. No. Bro, similar. Crop merged. Clear. I swear there was a crop. Crop is going to do something bad because it's taken a long time to... Alright, that didn't do what I expected. Undo it. How does that look? Looks way more like she has her butt in the air. How do I just get... Alright. Whoa. No, 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 no! That's the part I want in a new layer. Head. Body. There we go. This is what makes digital easy. Easier. Which parts are in this whole thing? Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that. Archive it. Get it out of here. Ooh. Yawning on stream. Sketch. I'm actually going to just call it archive. Hide it. Sketch. I think all of her needs to just be bigger. I mean, come on. It's high res. Oh, yeah. I think I'm okay with those proportions, except for that frickin' back leg. What's wrong with the leg? I think it's too short. Bent the wrong way. Bones, head, body. I don't know what my pen's doing. Is there a way you can, like, color these things? No, that's not quite what I had in mind. Can't you, like, put a red here, like, right next to the... between the eye and the... Maybe I'm thinking of this. Oops. No color. I'm gonna turn the music up a bit. I like my music. Alright, body. So, not quite so flat. And, I think this is throwing me off now, too. That's supposed to be, like, in the middle of the leg, and the leg's just completely out of whack right now. So a belly, I tend to make Sandy's stomach a little less of a barrel of a horse and more of a cat's shape, I guess. Whoops. That is not what I wanted to do. Now I don't remember what size my brush was at. Good enough, I guess. I'm a programmer by trade, so I like to have everything perfect. Like, no, right now, the brush, I am drawing with a brush size 10 and it must be 10 at all times. I need to get into the flow of just, it's close enough. But this leg is really making me angry. And I wonder if maybe there's a reference of Rainbow Dash I could look at instead of just like toiling through this myself. Blah, 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 blah. Actually, all of a sudden I remember most pony tutorials will have you drawing 2 circles for the body. Whoops, that is not the brush. Let's make just... You know what? I'm gonna color the layers that I don't need. Well, that's confusing. Violet? Nah. Orange? We'll just red. These are the things that I can safely delete. These are notes. No, red should be notes. The deletable stuff should be gray. As I was saying, most pony tutorials back in the day would have you do like 2 big circles. One's the back and one's the front. But got it, but Discord lit up. Whoa, did that do the thing it did? Whoops. I wonder if I could turn that off. I don't know how to turn that off on Windows. Tape lag. I'm getting distracted like a true multitasker. Most tutorials would have you draw a smaller circle for the front body and a bigger circle for the back, and they would call it a bean. You would want a bean shape. And then the head is a certain... See, I can do the profile pretty good. And then you kind of fill in the bean shape, and they have a belly that curves around, and then they kind of rump. That sort of thing, yep. I'll make a little blonde pony, I guess. It's a short leg. Anyway. And then you look at horse tutorials, and they make you draw 3! Yeah, I blocked, or somewhere along the line, links are blocked. Maybe I can turn off that for now. How do I do that? Auto mod. I'm pretty sure I turned off auto mod. Save it. I'm slouching. This is angering. Oh, and I cleared chat. Chat cleared because I changed pages. Does stream elements keep a log of what was said in the stream? Or in the chat? Not in stream. Chat. Well, nuts. Permissions. Mods. Blocked and permitted items. Well, if you post a link, it'll just hide. I switched away from the chat again. I think you can whisper me a link and it'll be fine. Well, this is bugging me, so we're going to look up Twitch. Allow links in the chat. Blocked links in chat. Twitch settings channel. Oh, it's in the second settings place. Security and privacy. Twitch Prime channels, channel and videos. connection setting. Block hyperlinks off. I did it! Is it safe to show? I assume it is, but I thought I'd ask before just plopping a picture on the... Oh, I see. Leg. Now it's leg studying time. So that's the stomach. Yep. Don't worry, I'm not actually going to keep it in here. I'm just going to flip it and see. Whoops. Sample all layers. No. I just want to see how it works. Come on. Come on, Photoshop. Don't do this to me. Is that... What? Yeah. I'm just trying to stick it here with the same-ish proportions and see what I'm doing. So that's pretty close. Oh. Right click to mirror. Whoop. Okay. I just hit Control T. I don't know what happened. Now I'm not even clicking anything, so apparently there's a keystroke for transform again that I was doing. Is Control T transform again? Stop. Stop it. I feel like something's clicking down. Okay, we're good. Let's right click on this pin. Oh, I always forget which one's which. Flip vertical. So flip vertical. See, I always you know, when it says flip horizontal, I like picture the horizon and then that's the axis it flips on, which would be flip vertical. But live and learn. That's what we're here for, right? Let's do it. Let's do it the right way. Control T, flip horizontal. Yeah. Nice. Leg. I successfully stuck a leg on. My work here is done. It's like, I don't know if it's just the keyboard that I have or keyboards in general, but it's like sometimes it'll randomly just stick either Shift, Alt, or Control, like on the side of the keyboard that I don't use. I don't know. I work with computers, and I hate them so much. So... blue leg. We'll call that blue leg. Did the stream blip? My video preview blipped. I don't know what that means, or if anybody even saw that. Ow. I'm getting distracted now. My eyes didn't blip. You cannot prove that my eyes were the ones that blipped. But okay, I'm glad it's I'm glad it's still going. Right. Back on track. Where were we? Legs. I labeled the wrong leg. This one's blue leg. Blue leg. Tree leg. What's this? Oh. The gray one. Scrap. Okay. People, when I was reading how to like set up stream stuff, people on Reddit were like, yeah, I don't have multiple monitors, so I have to bring up chat on my phone to chat to my own chat. Body. Alright. So... yeah, let's stick that over here. I think, generally speaking... let's turn the scrap layer back on. This is the stomachy part. And then you have... And that's usually kind of like in the middle. I guess you'd call that the knee. The horse knee. I draw these things and I don't know what anything's called. So maybe this needs to be... You know what? I'm pretty sure I have horse bone references. Whoa. I just found, like, an archive of all sorts of references that I didn't know I had. There we go. It is the knee. Can I zoom in? That is not zooming in. It... Gonna let me zoom in. That's gonna confuse me. I think I'd better keep that closed. This is where I got the like the bracket approach for bones from actual skeletons. But that part on real horses is like farther down than we draw them on ponies, so it's kind of a weird mash. Get rid of that. It's like me with a math problem, where I'll be staring at it and be like, I know I can do it. I just have to translate it into my memory. So, figure out like the weird trick that my brain needs to understand the angle of this leg. It's like that. Needs to go out like this almost. Yeah, I did hard mode, I guess. What? I know. I'll draw the... Yeah. It's been... What? I'll show you the last thing I drawed. I was going to say drawed, and then it was too late to say drew, so I just... The last thing I draw was this. I can't... There's no way I could do this now. This was in September. I even put a signature on it. I don't know where the signature is anymore. The frickin' leg. So, maybe the... Swoosh. Phone. Maybe that did it. I need to remember that I can actually flip the pin over and draw. Or erase, rather. Flip the pin over and erase. It's like, stand back and look at the... Okay, the leg definitely needs to be longer. That's gonna hurt if I'm not careful. See, I think it hurt. Hurt more than it helped. Maybe I need to take the whole thing. Whoops. Oop. No. What is that? Get rid of that. Get rid of it. I may say that is an acceptable leg. Turn the wing back on. Here's something we're gonna... put the wings in its own... Music got loud. What was I doing? I think I was getting... Good enough. Let's quickly shade in the wing so we can see where it's blocking. So we might not even need to worry about that detail. Of course, what's going to be a pain is the wing itself is going to need all the detail. And I don't even know about wing bones anymore. It's kind of like then they've got like finger sort of things. I mean, it's a fair wing, and let's put the tail in and see what that looks like. It's not gonna work. I'm trying to put a cutout. I'm trying to learn how to talk. Talk live. I want to put some color in just to kind of like block how it's gonna look. And see, the problem is that this part and the wing part are both the same color also. So maybe I'm approaching this wrong and I should be like putting color in first instead of sketching things out. Ah, crap. Well, I put trap because I said crap and I was thinking leg and also tape leg, so I just leg. I don't know if I want to make the foot that big. Might be a good idea though. What if I like do no? These never do exactly what I think they should do, so I better not touch it. Boop. Oh, okay, there we go. So it basically, I need to make it so it's not so much coming out to the side as it is going backwards, like your leg up here, which has to do with how much hoof is down at the end. Ooh. Maybe that has done the trick. Maybe. Get rid of that color. It's thinking time. And this is just a sketch layer. Sketches are supposed to be... Did I say supposed to be or supposed? Supposed to be. Long. Yeah. Whoops. Bones. Supposed to. I can make the bones fit, so that's a good sign. They seem about... I think I'm stamping it good enough for now. Leg. Yeah. Whoops. Go back. Go back! Nice. Does that help? Eh. Alright. The ears are the easy part. Hair's the hard part. Ooh. I may like that hair all of a sudden, though. This leg was like out of position or something, and I forgot about it. Oh no, I'm drawing on the wrong layer. I can recover this. Merge. This is exhausting. Why did I sign up for this? I should probably make sure... Blah. They're supposed to be cute. It's cute in my head. The artist dilemma. Another problem is I don't... It's gonna be bad if I draw it the wrong ratio, because this is a... That doesn't give me a whole lot of room for a Z cloud. I'll just have to shrink. Whoa. Why is... this considered fit to the screen? Isn't Control 0 supposed to be... Whatever. Whatever! Where'd my pen go? So I think it'll look okay once it's cleaned, once the lines are cleaned up a bit. Oh, I'm not even drawing. The next hardest part. Wait, what? Get rid of what we just did. The head layer. The other hardest part is like, it's hard to get the chin that I want without making it look too square, too pointy, too round. And it's kind of like the top of the nose here instead of like... Because this is like right between the eyes right there. Let's see if maybe I can... So the whole head is like that, but this is just terrible, isn't it? Anyway, middle of the face, right here. That works. Cheeks are something I don't know how to do. I'll have to add cheek fluff or something. You know what? Let's take a break and do a cloud. Ruin things with the cloud. Group that all together into one group. Can you not group groups? Oh. Nope. Wait. Yes? G? Yeah. Oh boy, cloud. So the cloud is pretty simple. Kind of show style floofy. With some shadows where wings will be light enough on top. Nah, too much. Too much. Good enough? Good enough. I'm actually going to do something of a color layer. Just kind of... That's in the wrong order. There we go. Cloud ought to be white. Let's start that over again. It helps me, like, when I start just getting overwhelmed with lines to, like, take a little break and color some stuff in. Just to give it some, like, okay, that's how it's supposed to look. The thing about gray, though, is you don't want to make it look too storm cloudy. I think I want some blue. Not green, blue. There we go. Less blue. More gray blue. I'm not sure what the background color should be. What is the background color of a sky without just being the deepest of blues? Background color. Paint bucket, blanc. See, that's too blue. Where's I'm like, it's very odd how there's like a square here that's just not as blue as the rest of it. And that's because my reference has a white background and it's not quite transparent. So I'm going to do that real quick. There. Perfect. Actually, that blue background isn't half bad. I think it needs some cloud action or some haze action. Over the whole thing? Yeah, over the whole thing. Whoops. colorist. No. Where do I want to? Where do I want to put that? I think I'm just gonna stick it right back there and then just deal with the. I haven't quite figured out how much like settings that this color wheel has. I'm just used to the I don't even know what I'm used to. Nope. Not what I want. How do I get out here? Check. I wish I could put the swatch things on the slider panel, but oh well. Oh, it doesn't. I get it. It's not actually giving me a history of. So maybe I want to put this somewhere else. Here's a good place to stick this. Well, now I don't know what's going on because my dashboard crashed. OBS didn't crash. Maybe it was just Chrome. But touching the microphone. Don't touch the microphone. Apologies for the silence. I'm pretty sure it just my version of Twitch decided to be like, oh, you're done streaming now. 8 o'clock to 9:52. Did it save a VOD and everything? Yep. Yep, it did. So that's irritating. Good to know. I wonder if I can glue those VODs back together to put it on YouTube. Probably not without Premiere or something, right? Bleh. Alright, back to fun stuff. So we need to have some blue here. Grab some blue, put it in a swatch. Grab some blue. Right. So I think I want to like trace this not trace, but make the this blah 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 words. The Z cloud. Where do I like changed up my thing, so now everything's nah, I don't want that. Let's put that. I'm gonna put the swatches down behind my webcam. Good enough for me. Cloud? Whoa. The bounding rectangle. Cloud? Okay. Whew. What's the Photoshop key for selecting a layer that you don't know is the layer you're cooking on? Is it this? Direct select tool? Nope. I know you can do it. I've done it in the past. Auto select layer? Yeah. So basically this needs to be way bigger. And she needs to be way small. Quiet. Photoshop. Oh, you didn't hear that. I forgot I don't have like my Windows sound turned on, which maybe I should for Photoshop being. But it made a bunch of angry beeps. Beep, beep. So, now we're into a composition problem. Can I split this into thirds easily? The grid. I remember the grid. Perfect. A grid line every 33%. So I've done this in the past. Show the grid. Okay. So that's going to look noisy. But maybe I can clear it up a bit. Just so I know what I'm looking at also. 4 subdivisions. 2 subdivisions. 1 subdivision. Yeah. The whole sketch. Oh, that's odd. I'm gonna scoot it down so she's more centered on the bottom third. And the cloud. Nope. Wrong cloud. You need to make a layer for the... No, not a layer. A group for the ZZ cloud. Does that work? I'm not sure that that works. Gonna hide. Whoa. Where'd that come from? You got that. Get out here. View. Control apostrophe. It could work? Whoops. Smacked into the desk. I think maybe the cloud's too big. Too big now. Maybe that's a lot better. Turn the grid back on. Thing is to not be too obsessed with thirds, but to be I think that's not too bad. I can type, I can. Oh. I'm gonna get into that thing where width. Oh. Everything is crashing all of a sudden. Why? Photoshop is taking up 12 gigs. Why? Is that enough to help? Why are you 12 gigs, Photoshop? All my browsers crashed. Alright, that's saved. I'm gonna... Oh, is it because I have this open too? Nope. Still 12 gigs. Why does Chrome have a billion processes open? Turn what down? Can I turn something? Performance. I mean, I have 32 gigs of memory, so I don't know why 12 is causing a problem. Chrome is using quite a lot. I really hate Chrome. I'm gonna make an emergency switch to Firefox. I'm almost forgetting that I'm actually still running because everything else is just... Oh, come on. This is not what I want to do. Now Firefox is using more than Chrome did. Don't make me break out Edge. I will. And nobody's going to like it. Okay, I'm gonna restart Photoshop. Oh! Now, play nice. Maybe it's the undo history that I have cranked up too high. I'm coming back. I can't see chat yet. Whee! Okay. Everything's back in track? Back in track. Back on track? The later it gets, the less I words. Alright. We're good. I'll keep an eye on my Photoshop memory usage. Luckily, throughout this whole mess, no dropped frames, so I'm proud of my computer for handling that much at least. Now where were we? I was getting ready to draw a cloud. No, actually, I was getting ready to do... Because in the end of this needs to be 1920 by 1080. But I draw at poster resolution. Blah. She's gonna need to be shrunk. Or the cloud made smaller. This is where art meets math, because I'm drawing at a very high resolution. Come on. Whoops. I'm starting to lose everything. Yeah, so I'm drawing at like 12 by 18 inches at 300 dpi, which is not the ratio for 1920 by, which is not 16 by 9. So I need 16 by 9 margin, non-margins. I'm going to take a break and drink some water. What? That's Adobe Bridge. Okay. Thoughts collected. Since I'm drawing at such a high resolution, I can't just draw a square 1920 by 1080. I have to use the 16 by 9 ratio at this size so I know where to cut it, basically. And I believe I could just use this yellow line. It's time to check. 1920. $10.80. Yes. So I have like comic book guides on this. So, because at some point in the future, and I thought it'd be cool to make a comic. So I made a template and then never made a comic. But as long as I keep everything inside the yellow square, that'll even work for 1080. What did that do? You can see that, right? Yeah, you can see that. What did that do? What? Did my... What is that? Why would anybody need this? What is Control-Shift-Y? I don't even know how I hit that. Trying to think how I can squish. I don't know if you can see it on the stream or not. Basically, I have a yellow guide here that I can fit things into, but Nuts. Nope. So if I move the cloud up, I just need to make this cloud, the thought cloud, smaller. It might just have to be small. This is the real work right here. I think it works. I say for like the 12th time. So as long as I... Come on, you can do it, Photoshop. Don't fail me now. 1920. I don't know why this panel is always in inches. Perfect. You know, widescreen is a real pain to draw for. Okay. Alright. Now that we got some housekeeping out of the way. I would like to draw on top of this. That's 1,000. 10. This doesn't seem right. Did it lose my flow settings? If anybody's curious, this is a reference to, like, you know how Windows has an hourglass for... Or does it still have an hourglass? Like the mouse turns into an hourglass when it's thinking real hard? I don't think I've seen that in forever. Maybe I just don't pay attention anymore. This is the hourglass equivalent for the very first computer I had, which is not Windows. It was a Commodore. Oh right, it's the blue thing. One of those things where you see it every day and then forget the minute you have to explain it. I don't want it like 100% identical to it, but close enough. Z's. Z's? Yeah, that was pretty close. I'm gonna be OCD about it. Move that Z over. Save it. So yeah, it's a reference nobody will get. Except me. Or people way too old. Am I missing anything on this sketch? The wing could probably do some work. Use some work. I'm gonna look up a reference for my own character. Sandy character sheet. The back part of the mane. It's 2 on the front, 3 on the back, and the telescope bit thing. I'm not sure where to put the back part of the mane. It's kind of there. Right there. I don't know if I should... Oh no. There we go. I don't know if I should flop it in the front. Here, where's a brown? There's a brown. So... Whoops. Let's not do that. Of course, I'm drawing it on the wrong layer. Get that out of there. Anyway, trying to find the correct layer that I put the hair on. There. So we're gonna stick a layer under here. All right. Oh, okay. Hair. Here's hair. Hair here. Hair here. Hair here. But I'm not quite sure how far to, like, maybe that's enough. I'm gonna get obsessive about it. This is the actual hair color. Nope, not the actual hair color. What? Something's wrong here. Because that's clearly not the color that I want to paint. Oh. What? There's so many hotkeys. I don't even know. How do you keep track of them all? It's impossible. Literally impossible. Nobody can do it. Here we go. Do we want that? Or more? Not more, less. The scary thing is, I used to know a lot of the hotkeys. And I know better than to quit for as long as I did. But I still quit for as long as I did. And now I don't remember anything. Okay. More? Nope. I'm drawing upside down. Nope. I was in the eraser. So for color, bring that in here. Boop. So as far as what colors are where, oh, it's a masterpiece. Long story short, I think that works for the main. I think. Cloud. Color. It's such a pretty little cloud. Anyway. Step back. Get that microphone out of the way. Ow. So what's next? I think I know there was, whoa, had some issue in my mind anyway with the front leg in the background, but I don't think it's causing me a problem anymore. I think it's okay. And I think the back leg's okay. And it'll look better once there's shading in. And just to prove the point, I'll put some shading in. Particularly around all the shadowy parts. Sliders. Dark. Nope, darker. Darker. The tail might need to come out some more. I'll work on that. It's almost time to wind down. Discord. It's not quite what I'd envisioned, but I think I like it. I like where it's headed. I like the colors. I wasn't sure about the background, but I think the blue, kind of hazy white blue, is working-ish. Now it's just the really icky part of drawing over all these lines. To me, anyway, the step that you start... So I like the really kind of scribbly look. This isn't quite what I like. This is more of the sketchy look. Maybe I can fix this and show you a little more what I like. But I feel like... What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Where it's just kind of... Watch, I'll just do this and be like, this is awesome. Where you're not really worried about all the details, you just kind of want to... See that there's some color in there that's missing. This isn't at all what I normally do. But it's when I start getting into the stage where it's like, okay, it's time to ink. Just make the nice, smooth lines that everybody likes in finished art. And it feels like to me that it loses detail, even though it's really not detail. It just looks like detail because it's so scribbly, and you kind of interpret it as detail, if you know what I'm trying to say. I don't know about that foot again, once I got rid of the... that foot. I lost something coming around that corner with that brush. It needs to be straight across, right? There needs to be an edge. That's the bottom of the hoof. Where I like the lines that are like that around the bottom here of the cloud, where it's just kind of sort of sloppy with a reason. Maybe I'm looking for this one. Nope. That's terrible. The wing could use some work. There's really not enough thing. Shape. What am I trying to say? There's not enough something. It's just kind of there. I do have wing references. Question is, see, here's a bunch of wings I copied a long time ago. And I'm pretty sure I traced them so I could just see what they looked like as lines. At least I had the decency to put my source. But that is not the same thing. Those aren't the same kind of wings that I could draw anymore. Now, here's a quick question, completely unrelated. I'm, like, watching my own stream, and if the brown bars on the left and right of the screen aren't distracting, maybe it's not an issue. But I want to try, like, changing resolution while I'm streaming, and it might make the bars go away, or it might just crash everything. I'm gonna try it. I did it. Does it look better like that to anybody? Or was it okay the other way? It probably looks better for you guys, but it actually makes the screen a lot shorter for me while I'm working. Okay. Because I remember hearing a long time ago that it's generally okay to have, like, mismatched sizes like that, as long as you have a sort of background. So it's not just black bars. So I did fancy book leather background. Anyway. Wings. The wings need work. I won't be able to get to that tonight. 。 That's not too bad. Maybe it's good enough. And it's just me having stared at it for 3 hours going, that's a horrible wing. I'm drawing with the wrong brush. Why are you guys letting me do that? Blaming you guys. I'm looking at these. Get down. Am I lucky and Windows will let me keep this stuck on top of everything? Probably not, right? Always on top. Nope. Nope. Not at all. I'm gonna see if I can get the shape of this wing in here real quick before I do that. Auto hotkey. I've heard of that, but I'm not quite sure what that is. Am I drawing brown? I need to be drawing black. I can't actually tell. There. So the wing bit kind of does a and the thing about this is, do you go for fluffy wings or bird wings? I'm a fan of fluffy. The problem being I can't do either one. So most wings have three-ish layers. So you have the floof bit up here, which is all the little these little whatevers. I don't know bird terms either, so. And then there's usually a set of feathers. And then there's the long ones. And in ponies, the second one in the line is always longer than the rest of them. The problem is there's really no shape to it. I think most wings do a this. There's kind of a dip right at the start. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud at this point. Ah! I don't know. It's supposed to be relaxed. This is just like straight out, and it shouldn't be. Get rid of it. Get rid of it all. Which layer is that? Target layer is hidden, huh? Really? No, it's not. Suddenly Earth Pony. Oh. And this is why Photoshop crashes all the time. Is there a way to count layers? I mean, that's really not a whole lot of layers, so I'm not sure why it was so angry at me earlier. Flow 10. So I'm doing the wrong color. Yes, I obsessively save. The one thing I have trained myself is my resting pose is on Control S. Which is also nice because it's close to Control Z. So shoulder comes around, just an extra bit of... I have a feeling that's sarcasm. That's... I'm gonna admit, that's a little scary. So, let's see. Oh, I never did the flip trick. That leg looks weird flipped now. Huh. Maybe this will help. Nope, didn't help. Okay, well. Blah. I think maybe I'm a third of the way there. Well, I did just cut off the wings, so maybe half of the way there. No, that's better than a third. A quarter of the way there. Ooh. I think the feathers just need to be more spread out. I'm supposed to stop. It's 11 o'clock. That's 3 hours, and I have work in the morning. Just a little bit more. I need to leave myself a note. Oh, feathers. Maybe if the feathers were like looser. I don't know. I don't know. I'm doing this instead of this. One of these will help. Unfortunately, the problem is I don't know what the problem is. I don't know how to explain what I want. And if I can't explain what I want, I don't even know how to do what I want. Of course, I could just scrap that idea. No! Not a new file. Getting angry. And just... the end. But I don't want to do that. I don't want that. I want that. Smaller wing. The problem might be, maybe, possibly, that it's too rounded. No wings. Yep. That's what... It's easy. Problem so... Wait. There's a sketch. Ruined the joke. Done. Whoops. Whoops. The cloud's half done. I keep trying to turn on like certain things, and then okay, there we go. Here we go. It's perfect. That's my new splash screen. Okay, I think I'm done. I'm getting loopy. Wait a second. What's going on? Okay. I'm saving that. Wings. I don't know about the wings, though. Okay. I'm gonna do quick. Can I even draw a wing? I'm gonna do this trick. So it's like there's not much slope before it hits the shoulder. And then you've got this thing going on. And then there's usually like a set of feathers, and then there's usually some kind of detail here, so it's not just flat. So why can't that be here? Ugh. It's not what I wanted to do. Bah. Okay, well, I do have to go, or I won't be able to get up in the morning, and then I'll get fired and lose my place, and it'll just be a disaster. So all you guys here, thanks for watching. I didn't expect anybody to watch, so that was a pleasant surprise. And I hope to do this regularly because I fall out of practice. And I don't like it. And I really don't have like a I really don't have like an outro or anything cool like that, so I'm just gonna log off. And thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the follows. And I'll see you later. Bye. Bye, bye, bye. The button's over here to turn it off. Bye.